Another amazing week of Lego creation. This week we have Lego bonsai trees, we have landscape, we have Star Wars, and a lot of very cool stuff from YouTube. As always, remember that all the builders and the articles mentioned in this video will be linked in the description down below for you to go and check it out. Welcome to This Week in Bricks. As always, let's start from the Instagram section. We have Lewis of Nutwood, this time not with a medieval build, but with a beautiful bonsai tree. We have a nice stand base, a little bit similar to the one from the official Lego set that started the botanical collection. We have a very well built black vase and a super nicely organic shaped trees with the branches that fall down all the way to the bottom and a very nice clean foliage. A nice touch to finish up the build. You also put it on an actual piece of wood that make it stand out even more. Then we move on another bonsai expert, which is Picea74. This time he has some very interesting parts usage over here. If you look at the trunk of this bonsai, we can find a lot of stuff. A broom, a pedal, airbrush, pitchfork, whips, a otter, a frog, a lot of cool stuff. Would be nice actually, since we've seen this bonsai tree, to see if Lego could give us some new official bonsai tree set, considering that that was the first one that started a very successful botanical collection. Let's stay a little bit in this theme with Waka is Me. Waka is Me, I'm not sure how to pronounce, I'm sorry about that. We have this very small build which is made for a limited piece building challenge. This one has only 24 pieces, and believe me, it's not easy to build in such a small piece count. But here we have some very interesting part usage. We have this sort of tree minifigure costume that is put upside down so that we can have the squirrel poking out from that hole, and also we have a barrel to complete the top of this trunk. Very interesting part usage. Now let's talk a little bit about some landscape. Here we have Jack Bricks, amazing builder. He has this sort of samurai scene where the landscape is really beautiful. There's not a straight line, there's not a sharp angle, everything is very smooth, very organic. We also have a nice build here on the left with this black roof with the Technic pins and the flex tube on top. We have a very dynamic pose for the minifigure and a beautiful stream of water on the right side. Now let's move on to X-Luz with a smaller build, very, very cool. Is a Imperial Research Station, so this is a Star Wars build. We can see here as well a very beautiful landscape that mix very well with the base of the station. We have some very nice choice of color from the landscape and some interesting part usage for all the griblins over here. We have those interesting panels that going up diagonally in the center. We have some Thor's hammer on the left and a lot more. Small build, but filled with a lot of cool details. Then we move on to the Lego room, this time with the Lord of the Rings build. We have this very nice little vignette, again, very beautiful landscape with this nicely built rock work. We have some details at the front, we have some details on the side of the rock work as well. A very nicely done piece of water and some interesting foliage on top as well. This is part of a collaboration, I think, on Bobalag. I recommend you to check out this page because there's a lot of very cool stuff. Now we have this Middle Earth collaboration. Now let's move into the article section, tips and bricks. If you like to build digitally, they have the lesson 3 of this studio sort of tips. A very interesting read if you like to build digitally. Next up, mock of the week. They have the Bald Eagle. We featured this build before on the channel by Nabe Mocks. I think one of the best build of this year. Here we can look at all the very interesting parts usage of this build, and we can see a little bit of the internal structure as well, which is very, very interesting. Here's the builder profile, of course, to go and check out. And then they have another mock of the week by Birth by Scabran Builds. We featured him before on the channel, so they have a little bit about the builder, and again, a little bit of details and parts usage from all the different birds. Make sure you check out the builder's profile as well. Let's move on to New Elementary. They posted the reveal of the new amazing Icons Mario Kart. Very, very cool set, and there are some very interesting new parts over here. We have the mustache made with these new parts similar to that cloud tile, and for the nose we have also these big round big piece, and some more new elements and recolors and prints. So this is for sure is gonna be one of the best set of the year in my opinion. Then we have some little mocks also made with parts from the flower arrangement, since we were talking about botanicals earlier today. We have this umbrella ball that is very, very cool and highly complex on the inside, but it does look really cool. And also we have a couple of crabs made with some other parts from the set. Now, this is a must read. If you like to build mocks, you must read this article. This is a guest article by Arno Knob, Lego Arno on Instagram. That will help you to find all the different legal connection to build diagonally. Sometimes I struggle myself to find all of these. I mean, I know a couple of the basic ones, but sometimes, I try to build fast and I put something on a jumper, so there is not a solid collection. But if you want to build on an angle and have a solid connection, then make sure you check out this article. Very, very interesting. Now, let's move on to Brick Nerd. Katrin Rankin as a series of small interviews from Bricktastic 2025. We featured some builds from this convention in the past episodes, and here she has a little bit of interview with different participants of the convention and their experience in being at the convention. It is very, very interesting. Then they have another guest article by the Builder Improvement Initiative. This is part of a series. This time they are talking about how the lack of paths influence your building style. And this is very interesting, and I totally support this. I'm an advocate for building small because myself, I have a small collection, and I think sometimes it's actually better because having a small collection push you to be creative with the parts that you have in hand without wasting too much time in looking for the specific particular part that you need. While sometimes you have to try to make the best use with what you have. Of course, we cannot, for everything we build, go and make a lot of Bricklink orders for every single build we do. So sometimes we need to work with what we have. Then they've posted another guest article here by Kelly Bartlett, and here we have a little bit of behind the scene of her building this MacBook, this laptop. Very, very cool. We have all the different drafts and all the different stages of so a sort of all the walkthrough of the building process behind this build, which is very, very cool. And you can see how the build becomes so much better after every single little change that she made. And to finish up, also the question is a mock ever finished? Well, sometimes I release it and I realize that maybe if I keep it a little bit longer, I could improve many things here and there. So it's true that maybe we will never completely finish our mocks, but sometimes we need to decide that it's time to post it. Now let's move on to the Brothers Brick. A lot of cool stuff. Some of the things we've featured already on This Week in Bricks as well. This is my favorite pick, my highlights. We have this very beautiful build by Dessis Bosman. We have this massive truck that is stopping on the road in front of this very well built camel, I have to say. But of course the highlight is the truck. I'm not too familiar with all the details of trucks, but this is extremely well built and is pretty sizable. You can see over here a little bit of close-up of the front of the truck, which is quite massive. Another very interesting build to me was this Katrina build by Yop1172. If I'm not wrong, this might be on Lego Ideas as well. Very, very cool build. I love how the skirt is built with those long orange pieces. I'm not sure how's the internal structure over there, but the build is definitely beautiful. Very well photographed as well. Then recently they just posted this build by Jonas Kram and Martin Gebert that are amazing builders that I've been following over the years, and they have this very beautiful and colorful garden with some very interesting parts, some interesting fabulant parts and colors. We also have a medium blue barrel over there, it's pretty rare. We have a nice gazebo. They have some interesting fence pieces at the back. The round fence is there has been used for the arch at the entrance of the garden. I don't know also what are those parts for the white trunk on the tree on the right side, because there's some interesting prints over there. A lot of very cool parts if you look closely at this build. Let's move into the contest section of the week. Brick Nerd, they have here by Alberto a roundup of the highlights of February 2025. We feature many of these builds in the previous weeks, but of course, this is another opportunity to go and check out some more builds from that contest. Then I remind you to check out Toys and Bricks for the Lego Micro Tournament that is up until April 1st. I didn't see any new entries yet, so go and check it out. There's some very cool prices over here. Then here we are on the Flickr page of the Imperial March, which is the Brick Nerd contest, Star Wars contest. We have 3 epic categories. I'm about to post my first 2 entries for the first 2 categories. Probably I will be able to build for all these 3 categories with some small entries. Don't expect anything too big. Then here we have Marchitecture 2025. Again, this is the Flickr page. Some entry has been coming in here. We also have the first brick build prize built by Christian over here. Then some example here for example, for the building category, the single build category, we have this church in some sort of London church built by Ben Woodley. This is a digital build, but hopefully you will be able to translate it in time into a physical build. Very, very well done. I love those small trees with the tooth pieces in dark green. And for the skyline category, this is my own build. This is a new take on a Singapore skyline that was the last of the skyline Lego architecture set. And here I try to, of course, use different technique and different scale compared to the set. And I try to mix up the architecture skyline with a sort of postcard set idea. So I think it was a good proof of concept, and the set itself looked pretty nice to me. Of course, it doesn't have the standard of an official Lego set, but I'm pretty happy with the result. Now, my suggestion for Lego ideas, we have this Italian builder, Lily Bricks, that has posted this Tuscany bed and breakfast Lulivo. I'm not sure if I featured this in previous episodes some time ago, maybe, but I think it would be very interesting to see this kind of countryside build as part as a Lego ideas set. A lot of nice landscape. We can see the olive tree in the middle. Ulivo means olive tree in Italian. The very nice texture walls all around this build, and we can see a lot of interesting foliage. We have those sunflower at the front and at the back. I believe now there are some new parts that will help you to do the sunflowers better. So there's these new modern pieces. We have a Vespa over there on the left, and at the back side we have also this Ape car, which is this little transportation vehicle that I built of my own version quite some time ago already of this iconic small Italian vehicle. Now let's move into the YouTube section because we have a lot of stuff to talk about there. Brixie posted his expansion of the botanical garden. Is an outside expansion, so he keep the set as it is, and then he build a lot of sort of garden area outside with walking path and the river, and he throw in also one of the recent set. I don't remember what's the name of the set now. Is the display with a fountain in the middle. He integrated that into the landscape around it, and it's pretty nice. Of course, you need to go and check out his massive Lego city. Next up, we have Robin Hood Bricks. He make this very small mock of an Indian restaurant. This is very well executed, and there are some very interesting part usage with this sort of dome piece on top, and we have some nice printed parts, in particular those arches at the front. Next up, we have Beyond the Brick. Of course, many videos this week on Beyond the Brick, and the highlight for me was this working Lego pinball machine. There are different sizes of pinball, and this is very interesting to see all the life and the movement in these working machines. Next up, we have Achiroku24. He posted another amazing build with an accurate Lego Optimus Prime G1. You can see, of course, here all the techniques and all the build and the final build at the end. Very well done, as always, by Achiroku24. Then we're going to feature again Jacob Kaiser Mox, another small video here. This is a cozy corner shop, very small build here that he built over a live stream. You can go and check out the video to see all the building process. And here we also have a little bit of tips on how we photograph this nice little build. Next up, we have again Cube Brick. Another Star Wars build is as the finale of his Star Wars Outlaws build of the Imperial Outpost on Toshara. Again, here we have a very nice landscape that go and mix up with the floor of the base very well. We also have some explosions and some lights. It's a very cool build. always look out for Kubrick because he has always a lot of very interesting building series on his channel. Of course, we cannot leave out Mark of Forward with his 12-hour challenge build. This time we have a Castor Siege, a little bit of a smaller base this time. The broken wall of this Castor is very, very well built. Of course, the final build is stunning as always. Last suggestion is, of course, Bob Brickman, that you might know as Brickcraft. He has the first video of his new project, which is an ancient Roman build, which is beautiful. Here he's playing around with different building and this big square in the middle and all the Praetorians minifigures. I'm really looking forward to see how this series will progress. On my channel, of course, I mentioned my Singapore skyline. The video is already out. You can go check out how it's built. I also have the members only video with a little bit more behind the scene behind that build. And if you check out that last week video, members only video, you will be able to see already what will be my next build coming out on Monday, which is a working space for Leonardo da Vinci. If you wanted to support my channel, go and check out these links on Amazon US. They have 20% off on botanicals. Of course, the bonsai tree is still there. It was the first botanical. It's the only botanical that I still have built that I didn't part out. 20% off also on the tiny plants. Nice part pack. I've used those dark orange pieces in many of my mocks. And also have some recent sets here. They have the chrysanthemum from last year, as well as the plum blossom. Both of these has 20% off as well on Amazon US. Those are affiliate link. If you make any purchase there, you can support my channel, or you can just leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already, or go and check out one of my previous videos. Here you have the full playlist of the past episode of This Week in Bricks. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Ciao, ciao.